This is like the second podcast with Renata and Tem playing people with ordinary language, but that's not the name of our show, though. Ordinary people and ordinary language. That's not it either. It's interesting when you try to be like ordinary and just plain. I try to make it complicated. I gotta laugh, Tim, because it's like it is so funny. Things are so can be really simple, but I can like make them really, challenging. And I'm sure a lot of the people that listen can do that same thing. And that's kind of why we're here to simplify this whole process of paying attention, getting the information, and then being able to integrate it and do the steps. And you've got some interesting things to share with all of us today that is pretty important.
Yeah,
Pretty important.
we want to talk about the prayer to remove emotional parasites. This is extremely important to remove anything from your light body that is not divine love, fears, unhealthy feelings towards self and others, abusive feelings you were experienced to, or when you were little, or projected on you that you still have memories of that haunt you, anything that is bothering you that holds your spirit from expressing who you are in every moment. And so the prayer to remove emotional parasites, how this started was I started doing the ayahuasca back in 2000, and my last year was 2005. And during that vision, what happens is during an ayahuasca ceremony, each year I went to Peru for 10 days, and you do 4 ceremonies. The ceremonies last for 8 hours. You start at 9 o'clock at night, they end about 3 o'clock in the morning. And the first 3 hours, let's just say you're clearing your light body, you're clearing your mind, you're clearing your consciousness, you're clearing your body. And the next 3 hours, you get rewarded with a vision of something that you need to learn in your life. And so on this particular ceremony, they showed me a light body, which is a body, an outline of a body, just in golden filaments of light. And within the body, there would be crisscrosses of filaments of golden light to fill out the body image. And on this light body, there would be clumps of gum, gooey substance here, and a gooey substance here, and one here, and one here. And what they were showing me is that the filaments of this light body could not resonate or vibrate at its highest frequency, because of instead of being like a ping, it would be like a plunk. So they indicated that, well, that was it. That was the vision. That was in 2005.
Tim, was that the vision that you saw for your light body, or was that just generically what they were showing you?
Generically is what the golden ones were teaching me.
Okay.
Right. So then I was in Sydney, Australia in 2012. And Thoth, the Egyptian god, came through, and he gave us this prayer to remove fears from the body.
Okay.
And that is the one that we do. This feeling's not mine. This feeling doesn't belong to me. I release this feeling in love now and forever. Amen. And so I started working with this, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. Any unhealthy feeling that would come up in my consciousness, I could just get rid of it just like that. So I took this back home with me in my meditation, and I'm meditating and I'm thinking about this, and these spiritual guides came in. I didn't see them, I just heard them. They start talking to me in my thoughts, and I always talk with teachers in my thoughts. And they said that these fears and unhealthy feelings are parasites. And I went, parasites? And they said, yes, they're living organisms that interfere with your thinking. They are in your body, and their role in life is to prevent you from developing your spiritual path. They don't know this, but that is their purpose, is to be a fear, to be an unhealthy feeling, and they don't want to die. So when you do the prayer to remove emotional parasites, you take them off your light body and you release them into the ethers, and they go forth and they evolve, but they don't know this. So what these thoughts coming into me were the Archerians, or seventh dimension beings, who are masters of emotions. All right.
Okay.
So I started teaching. I was working with this with myself, and then I would share it with other people. And what I found is some people would embrace it, saying, "Oh, this is great." Other people would say, "Oh, well, that fear doesn't bother me. It's okay to have a fear, and I don't want to do the prayer. I'm not interested," and so forth. And that's an indication that the emotional parasite was working on the soul's thought process, saying, "There's no need to remove this. It's not harmful for you. Fears are good," and so forth. Well, then we're here to train as co-creator gods. Gods do not have fears, unhealthy feelings about self or others. They're not controlled by previous thought patterns of what happened previously in their lives. They're in control of their own being. And when you have a fear or unhealthy feeling, your conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time. And if you have a fear of thought, regardless of what the fear is, you cannot be thinking about your dreams, your desires, your what you want to manifest in your life, and so forth. So it's extremely important that these unhealthy feelings are removed. So the purpose.
It's almost like
Go ahead.
it's almost like you're saying that you can't hold fear and love in the same breath. You know, you can't have that conflict. You cancel each other out.
Well,
Yeah, you gotta choose.
the fears affect your self confidence. They affect your ability to dream, to seek your desires, to motivate yourself, and so forth. So currently in the planet now, see, on this planet, this is a spiritual training school. And Archangel Lucifer, he has a role to bring all souls into the light, and he does this through temptation. And they will come up with a fear, and it's up to the soul to overcome these fears, to not allow these fears to inhibit them on their spiritual path. So right now, the fear of a nuclear war with Ukraine and Russia and so forth, that's the big thing on the planet now, to scare people. But know that that will not manifest. This is a spiritual training school. It's guarded by the Ashtar Command, security force by the Galactic Council. They will not allow a nuclear war to take place on this planet because it affects the other aspects of space and the vibration in interplanetary travel outside of our solar system. So there's no
Instead of
need.
that trickle down effect, it's that trickle up effect. So it
Yeah.
impacts everything. Yeah, yeah, true story.
So um, do we want to demonstrate the prayer, and then we can explain the prayer, what
I think
happens
so.
during the prayer? Okay. So
Absolutely.
the prayer is in your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind, what the purpose of your conscious mind is to validate truth. The soul is here to learn wisdom, which is truth. Truth is through experience turns into wisdom. And so when a soul has an experience and they believe it to be true, they file that experience into their subconscious mind. And then that affects them. So that's how a fear gets into your subconscious mind. Now, a fear in your subconscious mind can be removed as easily as removing a bad photo off your phone. You see it, you just click it, and it's gone. So here is the simple process to remove any unhealthy fear, thoughts, or anything.
All right. I'm going to interject one thing because you used the word see. And see is such a broad term. You're thinking you're going to see it with your eyes. And see is like hear it, feel it, know it. It comes up. It resonates with you as something that feels a little off balance. I'm adding some more words to it simply because when you say see, it's like maybe it's just appear in front of me and then I can get rid of it. No, you have to be aware. You got to be aware. And sometimes you have to open that door to awareness, right? So that's how that came to me in terms of the Master Ascension program and the emotional parasite release, like being aware. So I'm aware, so things come to you. I wanted to add that for our listeners because
That's okay.
C is like, yeah, C is like, okay, C.
Yeah. This is your role to keep me grounded, okay? So these unhealthy feelings are in your solar plex, which is your third chakra, which is right above the navel. So
yeah, so belly button, okay.
Belly button.
Left hand or right hand? Left hand or right hand? Left hand?
Left hand above the belly button.
Okay, I'm doing that. I'm gonna just show because there we go.
Good. Right hand on the heart. Now what we're gonna do?
I got over my jewelry though, but we're good.
Yeah, right there, you're perfect there. So what happens is during the prayer, the feeling or fear comes off through your left hand, goes to your heart, and it's released into the ethers. Now, we have to, in your subconscious mind, you may have many fears, unhealthy feelings, but you're not aware of all of them. So you have to bring the fear that you want to remove into your conscious mind. So if I was afraid of water, I would start thinking about being in water and the fear of water and just bring that fear into my conscious mind. So with my hands in place and that fear in my conscious mind, we say these words. This feeling is not mine.
This feeling is not mine.
This feeling does not belong to me.
This feeling does not belong to me.
I release this feeling in love.
I release this feeling in love.
Now and forever.
Now and forever.
Amen.
Amen. It is that, I can attest, it is quite that simple. You've been doing this for a really, really long time. And as a program, I think myself not. I have other techniques. However, this one, in terms of bringing up things and not needing to get rid of everything, that's what I want to just interject in there. Because there's a lot of things that are very similar attached to that fear. Like I had that water thing. There's a lot attached to that. So it's like it's enough to bring up the primary one that you think. And then the rest of them will kind of like dissipate as well. Or they might be lesser ones that come up and you do this technique again. I just wanted to add that in there so that people could get how powerful it is, and you don't have to know really anything except for being willing to bring that up, just as you described, and then just allow that process to unfold, and more things will come with that need to be, released as well. And then you just do the same thing. Yeah?
Yes. And why we tell you it will be removed immediately, because if you, after you say the prayer, if you try to find that feeling or fear in your consciousness and you search, you won't be able to find it. You'll know that it's
I got to give an example.
Go ahead.
I got to give an example. So, I share with you, I had that drowning kind of the fear of water. Mm-hmm. So I used that one because that was a really good one, and it happened in stages. But a couple of weeks ago or whichever, I had a dream, and I had to go jump into a moat of water. And I did that without hesitation. I swam to shore, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh, wow. There are no remnants of you feeling anything about drowning in water or anything like that, Renata. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so it was kind of like, that was my confirmation, my validation that actually worked. Yeah, so it could be that like profound, and it could be something, simple like irritations. Irritations are actually quite a little more challenging because I can find that I have irritations about many things in life. And it's like the simple, like in line, just any sort of agitation that takes me off piece. I'm like, Even Tam, I must say, you say do the left hand and the right hand here. Energetically, I entrain myself to do that. So I'm doing that in like on the fly, on the moment. Like if I'm driving, something comes up, I don't take my hands off the wheel. I'm like, yeah, those are not my feelings. They don't belong to me. Let's release this in love now and forever. Thank you. Okay, boom.
Yeah. Renata, you talk about little irritations. I've been using this prayer for, oh my God, since 2012, 20 years.
Okay.
Initially, I'd do it maybe, oh my God, 20, 30 times a day, and then it got less and less as time goes on.
Yes.
But now in China, I find myself when I'm walking in the market in China, there's a lot of elderly people. They're moving slow. They have these shopping carts. I'm tripping over them. And I find myself getting irritated. And I have to stop and say, this feeling is not mine. This feeling does not belong to me. I release this feeling in love now and forever. Amen. I just have to accept that this goes on in the real world, and I have to accept it. It can't irritate me, but it's being done to signify to me that you have this irritation in your light body and it needs to be removed. So when it comes up within you, that's when you have to remove it and say, oh, thank you for telling me about this and so forth.
And the thank you is really important also because I'm fairly stubborn and resistant from time to time. I always allow myself to hold on something if I don't want to get rid of it. You're good, Renata. You don't have to. But at some point, it comes around where I just feel really out of balance with it. But I acknowledge good, bad, ugly, and all in between, only because I'm just saying this because I don't want people to feel like this is about being Pollyanna-esque or a perfectionist. It has nothing to do with any of that at all. It has to do with the choice to move in love and or fear. It's a distinct choice. That's how I word that, Tim. And so the willingness to do that or not do that is part of the process. And so I'm aware of my not do that part as well as being part of my process.
I will tell you that the less fears and irritations you have in your life, you vibrate at a higher frequency. You're taking that gummy substance off your light body. You vibrate at a higher frequency, and when you vibrate at a higher frequency, the universe will embrace you to support you by allowing your dreams and desires to manifest. I always get what I want. I don't ask for much. Believe me, I don't ask for much. But the things that I do desire, I get very quickly because the universe embraces, and I work for the universe. And we're working towards the oneness of creation to bring everyone into this consciousness.
Unity consciousness.
Consciousness, being co-creator gods, and embrace that within yourself. And when you embrace this consciousness that you are here as a co-creator God in training, the universe will support you. And we can talk about that on another podcast.
Instant manifestation you're talking about, but I've seen that clearly in really small ways, and I want to encourage people to look at the small ways that things come that you ask for, that you even ask for silently that you didn't know you asked for, and then they show up like, oh, I just spoke that into existence. No, you're just really clear.
Yes.
And that happens in small magnetizing things when we go used clothes shopping or we go looking for anything out there in the world and it just shows up. Oh, like there it is, right? I just said that. Or even just speaking something and then going someplace. Oh, well, there it is right there. I'm no longer stunned at that, but I want to encourage people. The magic is in like the small things. The big things, that's wonderful. But the small things are just really cool. It's like you've know, and I know that I'm in direct communication with the universe when that happens, like, because no one else is hearing me. I'm just kind of in my head, or George and I are talking, and then like, boom, there it is. Like, okay. And I always say, thank you.
Renata,
Thank you.
when I first started using this prayer and clearing my light body, those things were happening to me. Things would pop up in my life, and I'd say, "Man, I was just thinking about this." And it's like
Wow.
what you just said is exactly what happens when you know that you're in tune with universal mind, and universal mind is supporting you by showing you this. Your manifestations will come into a reality because of who you are and what you're doing.
Absolutely. And it's almost like the using the tool, the emotional parasite release, could be a block for people that are in the metaphysical spiritual community already. And it's not because you're already in that community. Don't assume that you've got total clarity, because there's a lot of conflict there too. So I want want to encourage people that are already inside of the community, have been like doing the steps and doing their shadow work and all of that. It's like it is sometimes the arrogance that we hold, believing that we kind of know everything and we got that direct flow. Maybe you do, not saying you don't, but why not check this out to really like clarify the whole thing? That's where I came from. That's why I just committed to that 28-day Master Ascension program, right? And I checked myself out doing that. Like, oh, this is some good stuff. I got some good tools already to clear things, but this is even like rapid. It's like right there, like boom, boom. I wanted to add that little note to people. Okay.
Good, because the next podcast I want to talk about the prayer protection.
Oh yeah.
Now, the prayer protection will lead us into the Master Ascension program, but we need to talk about the prayer protection first and how
Okay.
it works. So let's end this podcast now. I don't want it to go too long
Okay.
and turn anybody off. All right?
Yeah, I think that 30 minutes that we decided is like it's a nice flow for the attention span. There's so much coming at people right now that to require them to sit and listen for an hour is like, ooh, you're
Yeah.
assuming a lot. You're assuming a lot. And because I really want people to like come back again and check this out and then really commit to their own growth by doing this, because it's simple.
All right, until the next time.
All right, Tim, to the next time. Love you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
See Renata and Tim's podcast at YouTube, Timothy Doyle, The Golden Ones. Visit Renata at renataworld.bigcartel.com and visit Tim at www.thepathtowoneness.com.